Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Casual Discussions with the Boys. In our previous episode, we reviewed the first Avengers movie, and following on from that, we are looking to review Phase 1 of the MCU. Considering it's 6 movies, we can't go through each one in detail. We haven't even done Iron Man 2, which I secretly hope we can do one day. But so we've decided in our review of Phase 1, we've split it up into categories where we each say our favorite thing in each category, from hero to villain, weapon, side character, setting, and quote. There is, however, a catch as we say our favorite thing, and it's in kind of a sports draft order, draft pick kind of system thing, which Caleb came up with, where if somebody says a favorite, for example, hero, then the person afterwards cannot say the same one. But to make it fair, in each category, the order will change so that everyone gets a chance at first pick. I think I explained that pretty well. Hopefully that makes sense.
Brilliant.
Beautiful.
Brilliant.
Right.
I now understand.
I just came for the pizza.
Is
Did everyone get pizza?
your quote? From Iron Man 1.
David's last pick, his quote will be, "Is it?" from Loki. That's about it.
Spoiler.
The best quote.
Calm down, Voldemort.
All right, so as I said, the first category was hero, and fortunately I get the first pick of this one. And I'd like to start this off by just saying not all heroes wear capes. And Jane Foster is one of the best.
There we go. Start of the podcast.
Playing. Of course, my favorite superhero is Iron Man. I don't even know if you can see my shirt in the background. But yeah, anyways, not all heroes wear capes, but some of the best ones wear super powered armor. Yes. I think it's pretty straightforward why anyone would like Iron Man. For me personally, when I first, after the first Avengers and carrying on through anything Avengers, I was drawn to him straight away. He was just so cool to me. But similarly, I really like Batman, which is debatable for many. And any superhero that doesn't have powers, I get drawn to just because they're kind of the underdog.
Who's Batman?
Never watched DC before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Been living under a rock. I mean, he's just such a contrast to that millionaire that Batman is. He's a lot more charismatic, but I think one of the best things about Iron Man is his development throughout the whole of the MCU. He essentially is the MCU. He's the foundation, as we said in Iron Man 1.
Oh, wow. Controversy. Cool. Does
So
that mean
wow.
the MCU has finished?
Well, if he still has cameos, who knows? Well, let's just say that the first 3 phases of the MCU are finished. Where they go with Phase 4 is probably a whole new thing in itself. The Infinity Saga is finished, we'll say. But
We already
That's a
saw
good
Captain Foster in the Dark World.
Shut up. It's a good pick, Cedar. I'm just gonna shoot you some respect. It's a good pick. Look, we got to respect that. Iron Man's Iron Man. We can say what we want about Iron Man, but he's Iron Man. So it's a good pick.
Iron Man. I am Iron Man.
I am Iron Man. Spoiler. Quotes
Ultimate
later.
quote.
It's a good pick. I respect it.
That's 12 years old spoiler.
12-year-old.
If you haven't seen Iron Man 1 yet, you don't deserve to be on this podcast. Sorry. That's it.
I have a confession not to make. Yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything. Like his development from a selfish weapon-making guy towards the guy who puts his life down for everyone, essentially, just goes to show how he's a really cool dude. And yeah, his suits are awesome. So
You even see it through these 6 movies, though. Like I know we're talking Endgame. He lays his life down, but we're talking Iron Man to Iron Man 2 to Avengers. He goes up to into space, and that you see that development. So yeah, good pick.
And then Hulk is there to catch him.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Beautiful line.
I do want to say, like, he is the as we said in the previous one, Avengers are always, because they're always superheroes after the fact, which I think is a quote in the movie. So he's always going to screw up, but he always comes back in a way that just, he's a hero. So yeah, that's my pick.
Beautiful.
Good pick.
Good
Thank
pick.
Who's up next?
Thank you.
It's it. Jeezy.
I'm up next. With my pick, I had a little bit to think about because I knew Iron Man was going to be gone, but it didn't really matter because I didn't want him. I could have screwed Malika over and taken Hulk. Spoilers, that is the next pick. Like, there is no other way.
No.
But I'm going to actually contrast what Zeta said in not all heroes wear capes, and I'm going to say all heroes probably should wear capes because of how cool he looks. And I'm
Not according to Edna.
I'm picking the God of Thunder, Thor.
Wow.
great.
Wow.
He's not sixth pick. As if he's not
Second pick. Wow.
Batman
how
was
can, you,
okay.
how can you pass up on a literal god?
Yes.
I mean, you want to talk about character development. Like, look at his character from Thor 1. We don't talk about Thor 2. But Thor 3, the Avengers movies, like, you go from somebody who is so self-absorbed, so up himself, to somebody who just comes in, fights for the people. You see funny sides of him, you see serious sides, you see emotional sides of him. His comedic relief and his comedic value throughout the whole series is incredible as well. He has some of the most epic fight scenes, IMO, when he comes in again and fights the Hulk. I mean, I know we're trying to keep it to phase 1 and I almost just skipped ahead like 3 movies. He comes in and fights the Hulk. He comes in and he fights Iron Man and Captain America and goes toe-to-toe with them. For me, there was just nobody else who could really come close.
As Romanov says, these guys are literally gods.
Yeah, and for me, there was just no other pick. Like, his abilities are insane. Like, I mean, you can't really say more than he's a literal god. So for me, it was a clear pick.
I respect this so much. I love it.
But I do like the development of the fact that although he is a god, his development is like towards a humble one, if you could say.
Not to mention the 30 kilos.
And I think out of everyone, he has probably one of the best love interests throughout the whole series.
Jen's just left. He's not even
He could sense it coming, that's why.
I may have been out of the room, but I can still hear you in my earphones. She's the worst in every love interest way. Like, I would rather see Thor get with General Ross than watch a scene again where he kisses Natalie Portman. So just to clarify,
I reckon Jane Foster would beat Peggy Carter in an arm wrestle hands down.
you are ludicrous. Peggy Carter is the perfect mix of brawn and cute in one woman. It's not going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah,
going.
I can't disagree with you.
That's my pick. That's the second pick. The God of Thunder, Thor.
Very good.
All right. So thanks for spoiling, Josh. But yes, Hulk is my pick. The best hero. No surprise.
What?
Oh, I know. I got you with that one. You thought I was going to someone else.
unlucky chance.
Oh, damn. I'm so upset about that.
Oh, wow.
Hulk is just the best. He's almost indestructible. This one of the smartest, possibly on par with Iron Man. Very
I like
close.
that you say almost. That's yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, almost. But if we go into comic lore, but I'll keep it to the MCU. There's just nothing to not like about the Hulk.
One of my favorite quotes from Hulk was, "Ah!"
Yeah, and Hulk smash.
Really good.
One thing I don't like about him is his haircut in that picture right there.
I know, that's a pretty good haircut.
He did have one of the most memorable lines. I'll give you that, Malika, in Avengers,
Hulk
where he was
smash?
like, "Puny God."
Yeah,
Like that. Like
that created. I thought of that
Yeah.
as my quote further down.
Yeah.
It did
It
create
was
one of the most memorable.
It was a
scenes.
great quote. So, yeah.
No, I just like the Hulk. You see, he is the beast, but then, like I mentioned before, he goes and catches Iron Man as he's falling.
Mm.
So you see the human side that gets explored a bit later in the phases, but just the Hulk, everything about it.
He stole that moment from Thor. I don't care what you say.
What, Catching Iron Man?
Yeah.
Nah, man, he was just better.
Okay.
He beats Thor in a fight.
Yeah, thanks to old mate Grandmaster.
Man, there's not much else to say about him. That's about it.
He is a pretty valuable. I'd say he's a pretty valuable Avenger to have, especially when you're fighting like really powerful. You got Thor, of course, as well, but like to have the Hulk on your side, just that'd give any team comfort.
I think Mark hit the nail on the head when he said there's not much to say about him. So.
The difference between size.
Oh, man.
Oh, and he can cannonball people. Holds them in their hand and throws them.
Okay, yeah,
That's a good pick. So
that's all.
It is a good pick. It's a great pick.
the difference between John Morant and RJ Barrett. So
Who's up next?
Caleb.
Look, gents, I can't believe, I cannot believe my number one pick has fallen to number 4.
Hawkeye.
I cannot believe you ludicrous fools have left the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan from Hoboken to Spokane has fallen to the 4th pick in the hero draft. There's no questions. There's nothing that needs to be said. I'm picking the great Captain America in the 4th pick of the hero draft. He's iconic. He's the yin to Iron Man's yang. He is what brings the team together. He is iconic. He is beautiful. He is all parts leadership, every part hero. I couldn't be happier with the pick I get to pick at number 4. Obviously, I'm picking Captain America as the 4th pick. I think you're right. Am I picking him for reasons that we'll see in later phases? Potentially, if I'm just going off this phase. Do I love Captain America First Avenger? 100%. Listen to the podcast if you haven't. I don't have enough good things to say about the movie. But in Avengers, I think we see a side of him that starts off quite skeptical of things that are happening in the future. And then we see the growth in him as he finds respect for Tony and finds all these things that we begin to grow. And so I think that, yeah, it's a perfect spot for me to pick my hero up. And I'm definitely going with Captain America. So that's enough said for me.
I'm just glad that no one on my list has been picked yet, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Oh, my God. Oh, good luck with Agent Coulson. Congratulations.
Well, I will say, if Iron Man is my first choice, my second probably would have been Captain America. Yeah, although at times Iron Man is the unlikely leader, Captain America, to I guess most of us would say he's the face of the Avengers in a way. Like he's the one you'd want as the the poster boy or whatever.
He's the one that says Avengers Assemble in Endgame. He's that main.
True. And I think they only do that because we get that payoff with Iron Man. I mean, we're not reviewing Endgame right now, but we get that payoff with Iron Man later. So they give them both equal. Like one of the things in Endgame that got me is that I felt like there was equal parts Cap and Iron Man in that movie that was payoff for that. And so you see that start in phase 1. Look, I was going to go Hulk 2 Malika, but I couldn't pick a character that had 2 different action tasks in phase 1. I'm not about that. So stick with Steve Rogers. So
they upgraded him.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Who's next?
David.
It's something.
Oh, David.
I got to laugh.
Okay. I have a feeling that maybe me and Grant picked the same one. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I really hope not. I hope it's not. But okay. My pick is Hawkeye.
So if you touch Eric Selvig, I'll kill you.
Well, now that you mention it. Yeah. For me with Hawkeye, like I think I just relate to him. Like I've only done 2 classes of archery, but I already feel like I am the skilled archer that Hawkeye inspires himself to be.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, I think the reason why I like Hawkeye is we talk about, the guy doesn't have powers like Iron Man, but to me, Hawkeye is the underdog. He's the guy who people look down upon compared to all. There's the Avengers, there's Black Widow, and then there's Hawkeye. But I feel like Hawkeye he's the way we can relate to the Avengers because he is the most human, he's the most grounded amongst them. As well as that, I also like the fact that with him, like you see even in Avengers, like when he's talking to Black Widow and he's like, how many people did I kill? Like he's constantly conflicted being the SHIELD agent with a past who's done things. And I see that reflected, even though he was mind controlled by Loki, I still see that line as him being reflecting on it, being a soldier, someone who has guilt, has guilt about what he's done, regardless whether he was in control of his actions or not. And I like that aspect of him. I like it that he's looking for this redemption and this finding himself to be a hero amongst these people, when in another life he was an agent that was forced to kind of blur the lines. And that's why I'd pick Hawkeye.
Yeah, you could have.
He actually sounds like he would have been your number one.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a number 5 pick. Reluctant.
Can I take it back? I'm picking Hawkeye. I want to take Hawkeye. Can I take Hawkeye?
I literally thought it was going to be like, I'm pick Hawkeye because I'm the 5th pick. And
when you said bow and arrow, I thought you were going to say that guy from Lord of the Rings that actually shoots the orc.
That wasn't Hawkeye.
Like that.
Do you know he just died? Just side note, he just died.
Who?
The dude that shoots the orc accidentally.
Yes, he did. Mark's correct.
Yeah, he passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, like a couple of weeks ago or something.
Oh, I thought you meant Orlando Bloom, like Legolas. I was like, oh, whoa. Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Rest in peace. Sorry, I don't know where we go from there.
Grantis.
Okay, so basically, good picks. Good picks. That. I just want to make reference to the absolute sexism in the group here, okay? Now, Black Widow is the forefront of Avengers, okay? I'm going to give her a good rap here. She literally holds the whole team together because she usually keeps them together while they're all looking at her ass, okay?
Oh, my God.
You just undermined your first comment.
Nah, listen. I think she is the last of the last picks because anyway, it's either her or Gallagher guy or someone like that. So
Maria Hill, bro, come on.
Nick Fury.
You could have picked Bucky.
No.
He's a side character, bro. He's a side character.
I want to hear what Grant has to say.
I just want I'm going to try and do my best to give her some relevance.
Yeah.
She does bring, I guess, when you're talking about emotion and things like that, she literally gives the Hulk, I'm not going to say this in a bad way, Mark, but she gives the Hulk more character in this movie and more depth. Like the way she connects with him slightly in this movie allows him to have a little bit more depth and a little bit more, I guess, that emotional side that no one seems to like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I can say about her. And I guess she's a good shot with a gun. So that's my first pick. That's my pick, Black Widow.
Her role in the espionage is like really good, and it carries on in Winter Soldier anyway as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Not to mention she does go on to make one of the biggest sacrifices in the whole thing. So true.
Very true.
Honestly, she was the one that they put in charge of recruiting the Hulk, which is a massive.
True.
Massively overlooked.
They just knew Hulk would get booty blinded.
As I mentioned,
we were doing so well.
You overlook that scene so much, whereas like she took on that mission and she literally could have been obliterated in the blink of an eye. Like if Hulk had just like gone Hulk and then destroyed her, then that's the end of Black Widow. But she took it on.
Yeah, but that's like we say he tests her. Like when he does the fake angry.
As Malika said, the Hulk is like him in grade 10, just completely booty blind. So they knew.
Yeah, she's good at that sweet talk stuff, and like you see it in Age of Ultron. It's become a meme now, where it's like, "Hey, big guy, son's going."
Oh, I hate that. I don't want to talk about that movie, please.
Son's going down.
But yeah.
The only other female character I'll put above her, I guess, is Jane Foster.
I knew it.
Oh, first of all, she's not a hero. She's a side character, and in my opinion, she's a villain. So if anyone wants to take her as first pick in the movie as villain, go for it. I'll happily.
Things are going to get
skip
interesting
10
once we get
years,
to side
Chance.
characters.
I considered her in this next round coming up for villain.
Skip 10 years and she's one of the strongest Avengers.
Would Nick Fury count as a hero?
Yeah.
Nah, he's side character.
Yeah, we'll save him for side characters.
He's a side character in Captain Marvel. I think he's a hero in Avengers. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Nah, he's just a side character.
Mate, I had him
Because I would have
as a
said
weapon.
Nick Fury if I was 6. Anyways, all right, we'll move on.
Yes.
Next category is villains, and Josh is first.
So, in following with my Norse theme so far, even though we've only done one round. I have decided to pick my villain.
Frost Giant number 4.
To pick, yes, coincidentally enough. I just feel like he really brings a lot of emotion to his role. No, but in all seriousness, I've decided to choose the god of mischief, Loki. I think, especially in phase 1, he just, and I know we were talking about this earlier before the podcast started, but I feel like he's just very complex. He sets up so much stuff, and again, sort of looking to the role that he plays in later films, and I think the things that he does in later films, his contribution just like always leaves you on edge. And I think, you know, he'll do something, but then he's got the cogs turning in his head, and he's already got like 7 other plans branching out from those things. And again, I think if I was trying to reimagine, you know, a Marvel film with my picks, I think there's no better villain to choose for my hero than Loki. Not only is he from the same sort of realm, he's essentially family. And I think he's adopted, which is why they did it. I'm not trying to say that I'm a filmmaker, but that's why they picked him. He's like a half brother. He's the perfect counter to Thor. So that's my pick, Loki, God of Mischief.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
I think when you talked about the different dimensions to him, it plays off well, especially because he's the god of mischief.
Yeah, I feel like he just comes on screen and he does something, but you never really know what his intention is. And then that pays off later in so many ways.
Yeah.
He does have an awesome persona as well. Like, even in the bits that we see when he's getting everyone to bow and Avengers and that.
Yeah,
like,
it's very theatrical.
He's got a persona that demands fear, respect, everything.
Like, it's a weird comparison, but imagine Joker if he was no, never mind.
Not bad. Probably more.
We don't talk about that here.
If he was a god. But anyways, whatever. It's whatever.
Who's up next?
Me.
My like attack.
Hey.
All right. So for my villain, I have talked about him previously in our other reviews, and it is Red Skull.
You
dude.
I knew it.
You looked up. I knew it.
I was trying so hard to cast Captain America the First Avenger.
Caleb was just waiting for you to pick a Chitauri soldier or something.
It's a good choice. Hey, look, I respect it. I respect it. Keep going. It's a good choice.
Yeah. For me, out of all of them, like, until we see Thanos and that later, for me, he's the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
Like, every time you see him, and I've said it before, he's got the long black leather coat. He's just all black, like, even with or without his Red Skull face. Like, and he drives the stupidly long black Merc. Like, he's ultimate villain for me. Everything he does is just for pure evil. Loki's always underhanded, but with Red Skull, you just know what he wants to do. He's evil, 100%, and I love that stereotype.
You just like the car he drives, let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's a nice car.
It's a villain car.
It's where ice.
And he's perfectly placed in being what you could call the mystical Hitler of the time period. So yeah, that's for me.
Very good.
Yeah,
best villain of phase 1.
You contrast him with Loki because they're very different types of villains, but they are villains.
Yeah.
But with Loki, I think Grant said in one of the other ones, like, you've never rooted for a guy like to be on the good side because I guess it's the brother aspect. But what contrasts is Red Skull. There's none of that. He's a straight up.
There's not a shred of good in him.
Straight up villain.
Yeah, like he'd kill his own family to get his goals.
That they're just both unique aspects that make both those villains likable.
And now he's a Dementor, so we're all happy.
I like the angle that you took when it was when you sort of said that Red Skull is sort of more. I can't remember the word you said, but essentially more obvious. And Loki is more mischievous, and I think having those two sorts of villains is, it's good because you do get sort of both sides, and that way films don't all become the same. It's like, oh, okay, cool, another obvious villain, we know exactly what his plan is, or another villain, I don't know what he's doing, and I don't want to have to watch another 12 movies to find out what his goal is.
It's a simple character for a very simple film, so.
Careful.
But it worked. It worked. All right, Chance.
Well, my heart's been torn out of my chest because Malika took Red Skull. But look, there's a lot of options, and I don't want to give too many honorable shout-outs because people could choose them as their villain. Obviously, my all-time villain list on MCU goes Thanos, Red Skull, then Baron Zemo. So obviously, I can't take any of those other two because they're not in Phase 1. I did want to give a quick shout-out. I don't know if anyone's going to take him, but one of the ones I considered was actually Laufey. Is that how you pronounce his name? The Frost leader of the...
Yeah,
I actually think... if you're going to take him, talk about it there. I just wanted to give him a shout-out because I actually think he... to me, stood out in a movie that probably even had too many villains, which is Thor. Like, I actually think he did really well. But my actual villain I'm going to go with is Obadiah Stone from Iron Man 1. Yeah, well, look, we've had multiple discussions on the podcast about
I saw this coming.
What's a true villain, and in my opinion, other than Loki and Red Skull in Phase 1, he is the only true villain left on the table, in my opinion, which is like pure evil, doing things at his own, for his own benefit. And I would like to see my hero, Captain America, hypothetically go up against Obadiah Stone in the solo film. So that's why I'm casting him as the second pick.
You know what, Caleb? Caleb, I was going to pick him, so thank you. That's okay. But I think...
But he picked Obadiah Stone, so you're all good.
Yeah, you're allowed to pick. I got the name wrong.
I'm saying, with Obadiah, I think we spoke about Iron Man being a very grounded, Earth-based film and not starting too big. And I think it was a very perfect Earth-based villain, very realistic to start with. So I think it's a good pick.
And I think he'd go well in a hypothetical Captain America movie. So that's why I picked him. So, anyway, that's me. I think that I can't say much more about that than I think that was, for me, the only one left on the table that I could have picked. So,
yeah, pretty much covered it all.
Okay. Who's next? Is it me? It is me. Well,
it's David. It's David, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, it is. But
oh,
it's all good.
Yeah, I've already had all my options ripped. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
who's going?
I don't know.
David's next.
Okay. So I'm actually going to pick one that's, I don't know, it's a bit left field, but I'm actually picking Raza from Iron Man 1, and you probably it's that, but it's the guy that was responsible for capturing Iron Man, and I'm picking him for a few reasons. One is, as you guys know, I got this thing about the 10 rings. Like I really just want to know who they are, what they're about, and I really like how Raza was an introduction to that. I really love his speech of talking about Genghis Khan and the whole idea of machinery and how it's been used to control the world. I really feel like he's a pivotal point in Tony Stark's life. And like I said, he was there in the cave with him, and I constantly say how the cave was the rebirth of Tony, and you can't have that without Raza. And you even see like Raza sets up other characters like with Yinsen, like he was responsible for his death, and we see how Yinsen has an effect on Tony as well. So I also like how menacing Raza is. I like how he talks like he's got this way about him. He talks like sort of like an intellectual, like a philosopher, but then he's this real soldierish type guy, and that's what I like about him. I don't like the fact that Obadiah kills him so easily, but let's just leave that to the side.
I liked his Alexander the Great quote, where he's like, the back in the day, those in power had bows and arrows. No, the bow and arrow was the peak of weaponry, and then today it's whoever has Stark weapons and stuff. So he had exactly. His vision was very simple, but it's what you'd expect from a terrorist villain, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot of respect for that pick, Fitzy. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, actually, an Iron Man fan, I didn't consider him.
The deep cut.
Pretty good one.
You're a fake fan.
I have other ones. All right, now it's your turn, Grant.
Oh, sorry, man. I got confused. For some reason, I thought Robin had already went, and I was like, I was pretty sure I was fifth. But anyway, I'm going to go Laufey, as Cal spoke briefly on before. I think because I'm such a big Thor fan, obviously he wasn't my first pick, but since he's here, I'll talk about him.
Way to give it to him.
he was the first villain we saw Thor face, and he really, like showed us how, I guess, childish Thor was, because he spoke with such wisdom and such experience, obviously. And obviously he spoke on the same level as an Odin or something. Like, he's been through wars, he's been through it all. And he's basically was like he was speaking to a child. And I think that started off our Thor character development very well, because Thor went from being spoken to like a child to speaking to others like a child. I think that's actually quite a significant villain in a way. Short-lived or whatever, yes, but still significant and still relevant, I'd say. So yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, as a kid, like if you saw Laufey, you'd be like, "Well, that's a villain."
Yeah, true.
He does have his big pet dog thing. It's pretty bad.
Okay, so 6th pick, my honourable mentions. There's no way I was going to choose Justin Hammer or Whiplash, so I would have gone for the drones in Iron Man 2 that they just.
Good call.
My first pick was actually going to be Red Skull, but that was taken, and I had no doubt it was going to be taken. But honourable mention to, do you guys know who Heinz Kruger was?
Yes.
In Captain America? He was the one that shot Erskine. He was that beast Hydra agent. I thought he was really cool. But my pick is going to be Emil Blonsky from The Incredible Hulk.
Wow.
I know that movie gets a lot of crap, but
I haven't seen it.
that's all right. Well, let me give you a reason why. I just thought he pulled off that mercenary role really well. He was just like, for a small. He's the contrast of the Hulk, and a very big contrast to Bruce Banner. He's a small guy, but he's very intimidating. He's very in your face, and he's in it for the fight. He's just your typical soldier in that movie. He's just trying to, just find his next worthy target, and his development through that movie just goes really well. I will say though, his shift into Abomination was rushed and not developed very well. But as Abomination, he did put up a really good fight scene with the Hulk, so that was pretty cool. But other than that, Blonsky himself was also, his role as a villain was also undermined with Ross there, because you couldn't really tell who was the villain in that movie. But I did like him more than I like Ross. Ross still has potential because he's kind of still in the MCU. Blonsky, you don't know nothing about at this point, but I think in The Incredible Hulk, he had a pretty prominent role, and it caught my eye.
Okay. All these years I thought Abomination was just a review on the movie, but it's actually the villain.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
That's Grant reading through Rotten Tomatoes, just see the Abomination.
Oh man. Okay.
All right, so I guess we can move on to the next category, which is side character. Oh, jeez. Malika has first pick this time.
Oh, I'm first in this.
I put side chick.
Wait, am I? Hold on.
Weapon.
Sorry,
Weapon.
my bad.
Yeah, we missed Weapon.
My
Yeah.
bad.
Oh man, all my picks are stuck.
Yeah, I was like, wait, hold on, I'm not first in this.
All right, yeah, sorry, my bad. It's been a long night.
You got me worried then. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like panicking. I was like, oh man.
I just screwed up the system. All right,
I started sweating straight away.
All right.
drop the
So,
podcast. It's Weapon.
this
Correction,
one.
it's Weapon.
I have gone slightly skewing the rules
You
because
just
I've
go.
pulled on comic lore. But as the ultimate weapon, I have chosen the throne upon which Thanos sits.
Wow.
the throne in the end credits scene.
So Mark chose a chair.
Talking
for
about
this
your
weapon.
toilet.
You
Okay,
laugh.
anyway. Yeah.
Are you
whatever.
playing a WWE letters table letters match with it?
Alright, cool.
Hold on.
Malika chose a chair.
Hold on. Yes, I chose a chair because
Oh.
in the comics, you pull on comics lore, and it can actually travel at the speed of light. It has a defensive shield. It can shoot lasers. It's all you need, and it would be comfortable.
You broke the system, Malika.
That's the important. That's the real kicker. It's
You
comfy.
You could have
It's
had.
comfy.
You could have had 10th pick.
I know, and it wouldn't have mattered.
It's a fair pick.
You don't deserve first pick.
Yeah, but see, I haven't ranked it for anyone.
No, Mark.
yeah, that's a fair enough.
Because it leaves us with every other option.
Yeah, I could have picked a lot of the obvious ones, which I will not name, but we know will come up.
No,
Fair
thanks,
enough.
bro. If I wanted to pick a comfy thing to sit on, I would have picked Captain America's Betty wakes up in an Avengers. But I appreciate that. It's good.
I would have picked Black Widow's lap.
Okay, wow.
I mean, I appreciate that you've kind of made it easier for some of us
I have.
down below.
And so yes, Thanos' throne.
You know, Mark, I actually expected nothing less. Well done.
What if the
Yeah.
throne though is like completely different to the comic one and it's just a chair? Like in the MCU, it's literally just a chair.
If Thanos can sit on it on like some random asteroid planet, it mustn't be too bad.
True. That's pretty good logic.
Yeah,
He could just have a really good.
it's a chair with a breathing apparatus.
And Thanos can
Say
pull.
that
If
a
Thanos
normal
can
chair
pull a
couldn't be
planet,
used?
if Thanos can pull a planet down as a weapon, I'm sure he can use a chair to throw it at someone. So
Yeah, but
technically,
he had
it's a
the
weapon.
stones to pull the planet down. He didn't have the stones in phase 1.
Seeing how big that chair is, I could probably use it as a bed.
I think he had some stones. Because, anyways, we're not going into that.
Ooh.
All right, who's next? Chance?
Me.
Alright.
And look, there's a lot of things left in my lap because Malika basically didn't pick. So,
Don't act like
no, like I know you're all expecting me to zig, and that's why I'm going to zag. You're all looking at it going, pick the shield.
Nah,
I'm not going
surely
to pick
not.
the shield. I'm not. What
That's
I'm
no
going to
sled
pick,
thing.
Because there's so
Picking
many.
I'm actually picking Hofund, which is Heimdall's Bifrost sword, as my weapon at the second
What?
pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another one.
Repeat the
You got to
name.
look at it like this perspective. I'm drafting a hypothetical movie in my head, not necessarily just like what's my favorite weapon, although that would be the shield. So I want to see Captain America as my hero go up against Obadiah Stane as my villain, and Obadiah Stane is wielding Hofund, the Bifrost sword. So that's why I'm picking
So this
the
draft pick
Bifrost
is
sword.
fantasy draft pick.
It's a fantasy draft pick for me. I've picked Obadiah to wield Heimdall's Bifrost sword, which brings in a lot of questions. Did he kill Heimdall? Did Heimdall give him the sword? Where's Thor? Is Anthony Hopkins still alive? There's a lot of questions.
Well,
So-
the actor or the character?
Both. Because if he has the Heimdall sword, is Anthony Hopkins, the actor, still alive?
But can anyone wield the sword, or is it
Too many
just the
questions. I'm
gatekeeper?
picking a weapon. It's irrelevant for you. You pick the chair. Move on.
Anyone can sit on a chair.
Anyone?
Yeah.
That's my pick. I don't want to have to defend it. If you want to hate on me, send me a long Reddit email. I don't care.
What was
That's my
the
pick.
What's your Reddit handle?
Hashtag NataliePortmanSucksBalls.com.
Oh,
That's
Not even Jane Foster, just straight up Natalie Portman.
All right, who's next? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
David.
Natalie Portman was my number one pick for weapon, bro. What are you on about?
She is a weapon.
Against Chance, it's a weapon.
Yeah, against your mate.
It's just
Shane.
kryptonite.
It's my kryptonite.
What about Tony Stank?
All right, David, what was your weapon?
I love so much of what Chan said. I honestly almost forgot. I did- yeah. So my pick, and this one's a bit out there, is and this is actually the worst part about it, is the mechanical fish things that Loki sends in Avengers 1.
That's your choice?
That's
Wow.
actually my choice.
Okay.
You got to
Chitauri.
pick a barramundi
The
fish.
Chitauri army,
Weapon.
The
pretty much.
fish things. All right, all
The
right.
Chitauri fish army things. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the technical term.
The things that we couldn't figure out last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, we spoke about, like, you know, how I wasn't that great on the trailer, but one part of the trailer I did love was when the big fish thing did come through. I remember I like because it's just this giant source of power. Like, they had to go through such large lengths to be able to take these sort of things down. And when you saw these things coming through that hole, like tons of them just coming through that portal, you're like, oh no, like they really brought that, oh, we're going to be screwed. If you just had the Chitauri there, you'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, a bunch of robotic aliens are going to take on the world, but those they bring the strength. So that's why I picked them.
David's like the only one that did this properly. He went for like
You know
the
what?
theatrical element of the weapon.
I don't expect to be the
A
fourth
bit of
pick.
sword no one can
Every
use.
option.
And a chair. WWE.
I cannot
Oh my
believe
god,
that.
the chair!
I can't believe the fourth pick. You've got the shield, you've got Iron Man's blasters, you've got Mjolnir,
I've even
you've
got that
like
gun. Honestly, I could pick that gun that Agent Coulson shoots if I want to.
true. That's
Oh,
actually
yeah.
not bad. I didn't
Yeah,
even think
that's
about
right.
that.
Now,
Say which pick, but it's on my list.
Grant.
now, honestly, I was going to pick a fishing rod to take down David's favourite weapon, but I won't. So, listen, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I think in phase one, Thor's hammer is literally, as we mentioned when we spoke about Thor and all that, it's, I don't know, man. Every time you picked up anything, then it became his hammer. Like, you know what I mean? And like, I just think it's because I love Thor. I love the hammer. I love that it can summon lightning. I love that scene in Avengers where he bottlenecks that portal. I think that's a mad scene. That's a mad show of power, which Josh spoke of briefly before. Is a lot of shows of power for him. And yeah, plus I've got another little. He's holding both here, so
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
It's Mjolnir.
No, I just think I'm picking Thor's hammer because I love Thor. I love the power it has, and also it ends up being a big part of, I guess, the storyline about how his power was just controlled through the hammer. And yeah, I like the hammer, so that's my pick. And it was basically my first pick, and I didn't expect to have it, so I'm pretty happy.
That's crazy. That's a good pick.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It's
My
a chair.
So I got next pick, and my challenge now is deciding which one I want to choose. I was gonna go on a technicality and just pick a specific Iron Man suit because I thought someone might have said Iron Man suits or something. But you guys have left a lot of openings. Honorable mention to Cap's shield. Sorry, I'm not choosing that one. Honorable
You
mention.
should. You
War
definitely
Machine?
should.
Honorable mention to the Mind Stone. But my pick's got to be the Tesseract.
Yeah, right. Good choice.
Ultimate power source. It's like pretty much the essence of the first Avengers movie. And anything that has like some form of teleportation, I'm down for. So yeah, it is the space, which we don't find out till... Oh no, we kind of find out. He opens up a portal.
Zito, I thought you would have picked the Iron Man suit as a weapon, to be honest.
I would, but as a like,
Or the arc reactor.
the ultimate weapon, like the Tesseract, man.
Well, the ultimate weapon is Thor. We don't need to talk about that. Honestly.
Well, if I had to pick an Iron Man suit, I would have picked the Mark V, the football one, just because it was cool. It was a suitcase where he's like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it was the coolest suit out, but it's the
That's
weakest suit. But yeah, Tesseract. That's my choice.
Very
Good
good.
pick.
Sure.
I just didn't expect to have so many picks left. I'm like low-key conflicted because I was literally about to... I had gotten a speech ready about why Hawkeye's bow and arrow is the most OP weapon.
Mate, you spoiled the choice.
Don't-
All right. I've decided to pick Thanos' table.
It's a set. Like, you can't pick it as a set. It's from IKEA. It comes
I
as a set.
It shoots lasers as well.
I don't know, man. I think... Oh, damn, I'm so... I
okay,
feel like-
Josh. We know you were down to Black Widow's guns. So.
I was literally preparing myself for it.
The little rope.
Look, I've chosen Norse gods for the first two picks, and I feel like Loki's staff is right there.
Yeah.
But to break away from it a bit, I am actually going to take Cap's shield.
Yes.
Someone
take
had
Cap
to, someone had to
Thank
choose vibranium.
God, thank you.
Purely
So you can go
because-
sledding on it.
Actually, no. Not purely because it's a breakaway from the Norse theme, but because, I mean, it's just such a badass weapon, dude. Like, it's not just a weapon, it's a form of defense. It's made from one of the hardest materials ever. It's such a cool design. It's really versatile. Look, it belongs to one of the coolest heroes as well. Yeah, I feel like I'm surprised. I'm surprised. It was number 2 on my list, and I'm surprised that I got to pick it. So yeah, I'm picking Cap Shield.
Wow.
Nobody.
Good pick.
Also, the fact that it took a direct hit from Mjolnir and just
Yes.
lost it.
Vibranium is something. Alright, well,
Yeah, Cap Shield.
that took an interesting turn.
Yeah.
I didn't expect any of these choices.
Wait, no.
Oh,
but-
my sixth pick was literally Agent Coulson's playing cards.
Wait, good
Hey,
shot.
they were pretty effective.
Jim Coulson's like Gambit from X-Men Origins Wolverine, just throwing them around.
That's how they got blood on them, really.
There's so many, but like you could have Odin's staff, the Destroyer. in
Yeah, true.
thing. The
Actually, an Odin sword as well, but I
You
don't
can have
see it.
any.
the freeze box thing, whatever that was.
Freezer.
Yeah, freezer. Cool. Anyways,
Honestly, you could have the sword from one of the Warriors 3. Like, honestly, you can have anything you want.
the Mind Stone. Nobody said the Mind Stone.
Ah,
Iron Man's. We already went there. All right. Next category: side character.
See how we go with this one.
It's me, my friends. It is me.
Chins, take it up the
chair
helm.
does not count as a side character.
Who?
Thanos' chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that was my number one pick.
Because surely it's sentient, by the way, that Malika was talking about it.
Probably is.
I had the hardest time with this selection being number. I don't know if everyone else thought number one was their hardest pick for some of them because there's so many options. But I think everybody is expecting me to go a certain way, which I'm not going to.
Not Bucky.
Shout out to Bucky. I think I love him, and I think that once we get to phase 2, if we do the same sort of system for our phase 2 wrap up, you know that if I get Bucky, that pick is going 100% number one or whatever I get, because I find him a little bit of a pansy in this phase. I don't love him.
Yeah.
I didn't love him in this movie. I found him more of a contrast, annoying to Steve Rogers in the movie, like I'm better than you, etc. So that's why I'm not picking him. I still love him, but I'm not picking him. I'm actually going Jarvis as my first pick as side character.
Ooh,
Damn
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Purely because there's a lot you can pick from, but purely because a Cap tech of sort as my hero in this hypothetical draft with Jarvis at the realm of the Cap tech versus Obadiah with Heimdall's sword, to me just seems like a movie I would watch on repeat. So I just want to see, and technically we know from the movie that Jarvis has met Captain America and seen him, so there's a connection of sorts. So I'm picking Jarvis, and I don't think you need any explanation. I think Jarvis gets on better with Captain America than he does Iron Man. That's my conspiracy. That's my hot take.
We have the
Has
pitch.
Thanos met Captain America too? In phase 1?
We have a pitch for the next Captain America sequel, if there is
Yeah.
one.
If anyone's listening from Disney, I've got a movie.
On behalf of you, I'll pitch it to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that thing you casually brushed by before. That's like...
Shout out Disney as one of Josh's clients at work.
That was so relaxed the way you said that before.
I love how it all makes sense. It's like, oh yeah, the old-timey hero versus sort of this new guy, like new technology villain. He's got one of the most advanced AI, and he's just wielding Heimdall's sword.
It sounds like it sounds like old superhero movies before Marvel. So it's like Daredevil the film meets Back to the Future in one movie. That's how I'm pitching it.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
A bit of extra budget, and they're like, what else can we throw at this thing?
yeah,
Heimdall's sword.
Jarvis is great as an AI with a personality. I don't think we've seen. Oh, we might have seen, but not like in this way. Like he was Tony's friend in a way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
That
was,
was right there, dude.
And he becomes.
He's now Cap's friend. So who's up? David?
David,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you said that Jarvis is Iron Man's friend, because my selection is his true friend, and that is Colonel James Rhodes.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to say something very controversial. I think.
Which one?
Terrence
That's
Howard.
it. Honestly, no, I'm
Terrence
kidding.
Howard?
Terrence Howard. It's Terrence Howard for me.
Oh.
He made that movie for me in so many ways. His interactions. We'll focus on Rhodey, not the actor, but Rhodey's interactions with Tony and Iron Man 1, they're my favorite scenes. And even like that teaser to him being War Machine. Like, you know, it's not like, oh, he's going to be War Machine. You're just laughing at the fact he's just like, next time, baby. And yeah, he's cool. He's like pretty much Top Gun, but he's just great. And yeah, I even enjoy him in Iron Man 2. Not as much as with Terrence Howard, but hey, what a friend that he'll go in and save his drunk buddy by chucking on an Iron Man suit and beating him down to Daft Punk. That is a true friend. So yeah, I'm going Rhodey.
I honestly didn't notice the actor change. Didn't even realize.
Are we gonna have to cut that out, or can we get away with it?
For feminism and race equality so far.
I think I like Terrence Howard more for the guy looking after Tony, whereas Cheadle's more like
Kick his ass.
yeah, but also like it's more likely that Tony would have to look after him. Just I don't know what it is about that. But yeah,
It's a good pick.
Brody. All right, who's next? Grant.
This was my number one pick. Actually, was Happy.
Damn it.
Because I think in terms of consistency and humor and just general like best, relationship wise, I think he's one of the best character, like one of the best side characters throughout the whole thing. Like he's there to the very end, like even when he's sitting there in Endgame with Robbie Downey Jr.'s, I'll say Iron Man's daughter, like asking her about like she wants a cheeseburger, all that sort of stuff. Like he's literally there through the whole thing. I don't want to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home, what that is in, because I don't really like that movie. But I think I'm picking Happy because even that scene like where he gets his ass kicked in the boxing by Black Widow, like that made me laugh so much. But he took it like a champ, and he's he could possibly even a number one pick for hero. We don't know. So
backstory: he used to be a boxer. That's why he was doing it.
I like his fight scene in Hammer Industries. Like,
yeah,
pretty all right.
I got him. And it's like
my pick's Happy. Just
the backstory is I heard nothing because you said Far From Home sucks. So
that was pretty possible.
Oh no, I didn't say it sucks. I said it wasn't very good.
no, the very good categories of these films is Thor: The Dark World, and that's it. That's where it ends. So you put it in that category.
I think
So that's what I want to say.
it's the movie equivalent of Thanos' chair, basically.
that was first pick, but
True.
No, I think.
Wow,
True.
Far From Home, number one film in the MCU.
Did you say that? Honestly?
According to Grant.
No, it's not my number one pick. It's American First Avenger.
I'm gonna quote that. Happy because I think Happy's characters just bring so much to Iron Man, brings so much to basically the whole thing. So yeah, Happy's my pick.
yeah, I loved Happy as well.
Is his actual name Happy?
Nah, it's Harold. They call him Happy because he doesn't smile. It's ironic.
Right. Isn't it ironic that Happy Harold?
You got me there.
I'm gonna watch this copyright stuff, guys. Come on.
Origin story.
So it's my turn. Wait, is it my turn?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So, I've gone with Agent Coulson.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he brings
Strong.
a lot through. Not a lot, but he's just because he brings a lot for a side character. Subtle, but he's an agent. I really liked him in Iron Man 2, just when he's like, he just threatens to tase Tony and leave him drooling on the floor if he does anything out of line. And although it was short-lived, that moment he has with Loki, just telling him that he has no conviction, I thought it was pretty powerful. And, Iron Man kind of says it himself in Avengers. He almost counts him as an Avenger by saying, oh, there's one other guy you pissed off. His name was Phil. And, I think he just holds a lot of sentiment for the Avengers and potentially the audiences too. I don't know what he's like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't really like that he's brought back in it.
No, never.
But, outside of that, I think Coulson's my favorite side character.
I feel like there's a lot to say when the audience genuinely gets sad over the death of a side character. And it's not like this thing that just gets passed over and it's like, whatever, they'll replace him with someone. It's like, oh, damn, like Coulson died. I think that's pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good point. Great point.
All right, yeah. Well, that was my side character.
Okay.
Very good, very good. I think you just gave away your quote during that thing too.
I want my booth. Honorable mention, the bird in Iron Man.
Josh is next.
Yes.
Cool. So actually, only 2 of my picks have been taken. The number 1 pick was taken by chance, and Zeta just took my other pick, or my 3rd pick actually. So I'm going to go with my 2nd pick, which I didn't expect to have. May seem a little bit obvious, but I'm going to go with Nick Fury.
Yeah, strong.
The arguable mastermind behind the whole Avengers series, really. I don't think there's too much to say. Like, he's a super spy. He's incredibly intelligent. Again, he masterminded sort of the whole bringing together of the Avengers. I think without Nick Fury, you don't have the Avengers at all, really. So I think for me, it's a pretty clear pick.
That's a good answer. Really good.
Strong.
I think with Samuel L. Jackson too, even though he's had so many prominent roles,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's on par with, like, say, Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey as, like, Logan 9-Man, but you don't really see any other Nick Fury other than Samuel.
David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
I think most people, like, in the generation that's just below us, would know Samuel L. Jackson for Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like, if you show them Samuel L. Jackson, they'd be like, oh, it's Nick Fury. But they wouldn't be like, oh, he's this from this and this from this. It'd be Nick Fury.
I put him on the same level as Captain Kirk. I really do.
Interesting.
Cool.
He's a Captain Kirk of Avengers, let's be honest.
Malika?
All right. This one was a bit difficult because I did think of Fury.
37.
What?
No, go.
Thanos' chair leg.
You know the
that
rubbery
leg?
bit? The little rubbery bit at the bottom of the chairs? That's Malika's side character.
Because
Maybe
it
it's that
wobbles,
guy
it wobbled
from
a little
Infinity
bit, so they had to put a bit of rubber in there.
Mark, maybe it's that guy from Infinity War holding his chair up the whole time.
He's got a midget holding chair. You don't see him.
Mini
No,
Hulks.
I'm gonna carry on from your theme before, Grant, of not being sexist and having the photos in front of me help. I'm gonna go Peggy Carter.
Nice.
Yes.
One, because Hayley Atwell was like a 9.5 out of 10.
9.7.
9.9. I could not a 10, but close. Because she is pretty much the perfect accompaniment to Captain America. I think me and Zeta talked about this in one of the previous episodes where she's everything a woman wouldn't have been, like her role in the 1940s. Where at that time it was, the woman's at home cooking, cleaning, waiting for the man. She was full into espionage. She was just as good as, probably, might say even better than
Jane Foster.
the Howling Commandos that were with him. Her character was better, that's for sure.
I agree.
And she got her own TV show, which was annoyingly cancelled because I was enjoying that
great
TV
show.
Yeah, great
Yep.
show.
Yep.
Jarvis was in it.
True.
Yes.
Shout out Jarvis.
Their chemistry is actually pretty funny in that TV show. I quite liked it. So yeah, she is my ultimate sidekick.
Excellent.
Good pick.
Side character.
Similarly to how Grant completely backtracked his feminist/sexist comment. Malika's like, oh, I don't want to be sexist. I'm fighting for feminism. And then you gave her a rating out of 10.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm all about
Hold
women's
on,
rights.
Mark. You gave her a rating with that background on.
Hey,
You didn't give her full marks.
it was a holistic rating. I was rating everything.
Okay.
He gave her a 9.7, guys. Give him
She's got a
credit.
great personality, guys.
She does. Personalities.
Okay.
All right. Next is second last category, setting. And first up, we have David. I'm actually interested to see where we went with our choices for this one because it's pretty broad.
Yeah, look, I feel like there are like a lot of obvious choices here. Like I could have gone Asgard, but to be honest, me personally, I think the best thing that ever happened in Thor Ragnarok was when Asgard got blown up.
Yes.
Are you for real?
Don't worry, Grant. Asgard is the people.
Are we gonna?
Are we going to take that? So my choice is actually Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, which is in The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
Now,
Isn't Fast and Furious?
Oh my god.
Yes. The Portuguese chick was. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh.
David. This isn't Fast and Furious, bro. This is Avengers.
I was going to say, like, Brazil did save the Fast and Furious franchise, as it probably did for the MCU, but...
I thought you were going to say Fifth Avenue, New York, but that's okay.
I like it because I like this idea of it being the setting of where the Hulk has to hide. You know, like, it's interesting to me because you see like the culture, he's trying to like hide amongst it, and like obviously you can see he's not able to fully understand the language, he's not fully able to understand what's going on, but he's able to learn values from it. He's able to you see where he's doing breathing exercises with one of his teachers. And I don't know who the guy is specifically, but
I think in real life he was
don't
like
even
an
know
MMA.
the martial arts he was teaching him. But
It's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
there you go. But yeah, I thought that was very
Just because
interesting.
he was in Brazil, Zeta.
No, it actually. Anyway, whatever.
Could have been capoeira.
Yeah, so it's just constantly interesting to see him interact with that culture, even the way he interacts with the bullies and how when they're trying to take him on, and it's a challenge to him as well. But one thing I definitely love about it is just you see when like the soldiers are coming and they're chasing him around the city. It's just such a beautiful setting for something like that. I love chase scenes that are based in exotic locations, and you really get this sense of like this guy is generally trying to hide. He's trying to just fly under the radar, but when he gets found out, he's caught up in not only his own mess, but he's bringing a mess to this new country he's in, and I find that very interesting.
Respect
That's
that.
a mad answer, right? That's a really good answer.
I know Fitz always
respect
gives
that.
such profound answers.
I love it.
Now, I just closed this Reddit page and I read that off. But
oh yeah, by the
So
way,
you're the admin on the Marvel page, Fitz.
Malika,
I love Jay Foster.
unlucky your setting got chosen. All right, next up, Garantus.
Well, I'm straight up. I'm going to pick Asgard again because I love it. It's basically New York. It's basically just New York dipped in maple syrup. It's beautiful.
Wow.
But an honorable mention. I was going to make reference to where Loki goes in his vision, because that was one of the first time. Like you get to see a little bit more of the universe. That was a little thing for me. But yes, definitely Asgard. I think watching the films, it was when you first watched Thor, you were amazed by the scenery. You were amazed by all it, and you were like, okay, they're using spears, but they've probably got better Wi-Fi than us. Like it's a real, like it's such an advanced place. And I thought, okay, this once again it brings that real space what do you call it? Space
Cosmic element.
aspect cosmic element to the MCU, and I just thought it was a good change up. And the fact that it was used between going to Earth and coming back, it was once again a good contrast. And I said, Asgard, it gets destroyed. It was a bit heartbreaking, but someone made a comment before about Asgard is people, yes. But Asgard would be my pick for the setting just because of the sheer vision of it, really.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like it was the obvious choices.
Oh yeah,
Like surely no one in this, like we couldn't have gone through this whole thing without someone picking Asgard.
it was either that or the shawarma joint.
Hey.
All right. Yeah. All right. So my turn. For my choice, I'm going with the Stark Expo. One of my favorite
Right.
places. Like
Great choice.
that is like our supernova, like a Comic-Con convention, but like on roids. Like, and it's held by Stark. Like, what more could you want? You see it. You see it in Captain America. It's pretty sick.
Yes, it is.
And then in Iron Man 2, you see it again, and it pays off more so for Tony's development because it's essentially like it's a gift from his dad to Tony, and then carrying from that, it's kind of Tony's gift to everyone. But then he just gets destroyed in the fight scene in the end.
Yeah.
But in that fight scene, you get one of the coolest fights in Phase 1 where the War Machine and Iron Man, they fight all those drones. And then, I'm not sure if it was an Easter egg, but the bit where Whiplash is holding them like kind of on the sides, I thought it was a callback to, it was a callback from Thanos' scene where they're trying to pull off the glove. Like, I thought that was like, it just added more value to that whole place. And I just thought of it as somewhere I'd really want to, like, I'd be so keen to just check out because,
That's a great place. Well done.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Okay.
Cool. So unfortunately, Rio de Janeiro has been taken, so I don't really know where to go from here. No, so in all seriousness, I had what did I have? I had Asgard, I had Jotunheim. I'm not going to say too many of my other options again because I don't want to give any ideas, but Graham made a joke about it before, but I'm actually going to choose the shawarma restaurant.
Yeah, good choice.
Shawarma joint. I think it was, I think for me, I just enjoyed it because it was a bit of a running joke, and then I liked the fact that it sort of eventuated at the end of the first film. And then also just the fact that it was sort of a place where they all sort of just came together, chilled out. Just reminded me of the hangouts with the boys.
Yeah.
Pretty simple pick.
Good pick.
Bit of an emotional pick.
At hit home.
Yeah, it hit home. Far from home, but hit home.
Hey, good movie, huh?
Number one.
Listen. The shawarma joint's closed during isolation, all right? So don't get started.
I got the hookup. I'm still getting shawarma.
Don't do a takeaway, all right?
Yeah, I just see the shawarma joint as like fat boys in town.
It's Fat Boys Pit and Grill. Yeah, it's good.
Did anybody else on our first watch? Because we weren't aware of credits, post-end credit scene after the credits. Because you'd get one mid credits and then there'd be another one. I missed that one the first time.
Yeah, I
I
did
missed
too.
it.
Yeah, same.
I YouTubed it. Yeah. No, it's actually really good. I actually like that answer, to be honest. As much as I did it as a joke, it's actually quite a good answer. It's a very good conclusion to that movie. It's like, yes, you just defeated aliens, but you are still on Earth. You do have to. It reminds you that heroes have to eat too.
Deep.
Heroes gotta eat.
And use sustenance.
I think that was the first sign of like just the MCU handing out fan service, because like Tony kind of says it as a joke, but then they actually do it where they're all together. It's like
fan service as well. Yeah, Malika.
All right. So I've gone off your previous picks, Alvarez. I've gone to Norse. And I did think of Asgard at first, but I looked at the other 9 realms, and my choice is Alfheim, the land of the light elves. Which for me, after watching, huge Lord of the Rings fan, love it. Elves are awesome. So for me, it was a no-brainer to go to the land of the elves. Everything there would just be amazing. It would be so peaceful, magical. Like, everything about elves in fantasy is that they are awesome, especially light elves. Dark elves with Malekith and stuff, it's crap. But
The movie Elf.
yeah,
Great, love Elf.
but it would just be such a fantastic place to live. Like, it would be amazing being in a place of light elves. The scenery would be beautiful. The people would be beautiful. That's right.
They'd be elves.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you see elves in all other movies, and they are just the best, pretty much.
That's true. He's got a point.
Psycho elf from Lord of the Rings 1. I don't know about her.
Which one, sorry?
What's that? I can't remember. But the one that
Galadriel.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's like one of the oldest elves.
she's got crazy
Lord of the
eyes.
Rings. Yeah,
Like you're a cheater.
but she's just super powerful.
That's actually do you know that's isn't that Hela? The actor's Hela.
Yeah, Kate.
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good link
Crossover.
up there. Very good link up. Conspiracy theory, link up Lord of the Rings.
I don't even think of Alfheim at all.
The 9 realms.
Can we
Just to
do
rename
Lord of the
Alfheim?
Rings later?
We'll see.
I'd love to do Lord of the Rings. I could speak about it for like hours.
I want to do draft pick on Christmas movie because Elf will be at the top.
Wow. Controversial, but fair.
All right, Chance.
My pick is hasn't been picked. My number one wasn't on any of those lists. I just want to shout out David for essentially recasting the Bourne movie with Jeremy Renner that got remade because it's just basically Hawkeye in Rio de Janeiro doing whatever he does.
Philippines is in Philippines.
Whatever, it's all the same movie. Hawkeye doing action stunts in a random city. It's the Bourne movie that sucks.
And Edward Norton was in it as well.
Appreciate that. I want to set the tone for a second because I've got Captain America. He's going up against Obadiah Stane. He's got Ho Fun, which is Heimdall's sword. And when Jarvis takes Captain America to this setting, we see Obadiah Stane with the sword standing atop of Randy's Donuts from Iron Man 2 as Iron Man was sitting on there. waiting for Nick Fury to come. So my setting pick is Randy's Donuts from Iron Man 2. There's a final battle scene in my hypothetical movie as they rip apart Randy's Donuts and there's just donuts flying everywhere. And they're going in between realms with the sword. They're going from Asgard. And because I've got so many options, but the final battle is at Randy's Donuts.
That needs to be a new level on the Contest of Champions game on the iPhone.
So
Randy's Donuts.
Randy's Donuts, Iron Man 2.
That's you know what? It's really creative. I like it. I really like it.
That was a pretty cool scene, actually. Yeah, with Iron Man 2 getting Donuts.
Nobody chose like Stark Tower.
Yeah,
no.
That was
It's probably. I was thinking about it because I was like, oh man, imagine all the technology in that building. Like that would be sick. And then everyone's just like, I'm going to choose a donut joint.
Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro.
Malika cheated and chose a place that was on a
an
page.
elf fetish, so I'm going to choose that.
I was on a what, Zeta?
He cheated.
How did I cheat?
Anyways. No.
Quotes.
Yeah, the other place I was thinking of was his house. It's similar to the Stark Tower.
All the obvious ones.
Like it's blown up. All right, yeah, quotes. All right, yeah. Well, final category, quotes, and Grant finally gets first pick.
Yes. Listen, this quote for me, only because it literally continues, and I guess it comes into play in the very end, because eventually, I guess it comes true, and it's if we can't protect the Earth, you can be damn sure we'll avenge it.
Right.
And that, to me, was because eventually they can't protect the Earth, and they do have to avenge it. Because Avengers, they do protect it. Ultron, they do protect it. And Infinity War, they don't. Eventually that quote comes into play. Eventually they do have to avenge it properly. So, yeah, I think that's a massive quote. And it continues throughout all the movies. So that's my number one draft pick for the Air Thornton's G-Bex number one.
But you know what annoys me? You know what annoys me at that one? And we said it when we were reviewing the movie itself. Is like, they wait for something bad to happen. And they're like, oh, now we will do something.
They're not the pre-Vengers, okay?
Yeah, but
really
like
crappy heroes.
But like, it's like you wait for something bad to happen. You're like, oh, now I'll act and do something. But
yeah,
it's a good.
It makes for a better movie.
Yeah,
makes for a better movie, you know.
Good quote.
If they were the pre-Vengers, they'd go back in time and kill Thanos as a kid. But...
True. Shout out Rhodey.
His best idea.
All right.
Okay. Who's up next?
Me. Ooh. These are the Cubans, baby. These are the Cahibas, the Monte Cristos. It's capable of busting a bunker under the bunker you just busted. If we're any smarter, it'd write a book that would make Ulysses look like it was written in crayon. It would read it to you. This is my Eiffel Tower. This is my Rachmaninoff's third, my Pieta. It's completely elegant. It's bafflingly beautiful. And it's capable of reducing the population of any standing structure to zero. I call it the ex-wife.
Does this count as a quote?
It's a monologue.
Monologue, not a quote.
That was one of my honourable mentions because I just thought it was really funny.
That wasn't even your pick.
I know where you're going. Surely you're going where I think you're going.
You spent half the podcast saying that quote.
I just thought, well, that one was funny because, you know, Justin Hammer's this guy who's trying to be Tony, but he can't be Tony. And then in that is, yeah, anyways. My quote is kind of like, you kind of piece them together. So the first one is from Whiplash, and it's not, I want my board.
It should be.
It's, if you can make God bleed, people will cease to believe. I love that quote just because mainly because of the payoff later in the end, but within Iron Man 2, was trying to put across the point that, because Tony was trying to say that he'd successfully privatized world peace and no one will catch up to him. Like he was it was just all about himself. But then he realizes someone's on par with him and almost beats him. But then this pays off later when he fights Thanos and he does make him bleed. Like Thanos is like, all that for a drop of blood. So yeah, I really love that quote. But the actual number one quote is, it's not even said, it's just written on the gift that Pepper gives Tony, and it says proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
Yeah, wow.
It's not I am Iron Man, unfortunately, but I love that quote just because, again, it's just great development for who Iron Man is. He's not just all about himself. Like, he has a heart, and yeah, it just pays off in the end where he saves everyone. And just throughout the movies, you just see his development changing from a guy who's all about himself to other people.
That's a really good quote. Well done. What a good.
Oh, good quote, good pick. I'm going to follow that up with, actually, this is my last pick, but actually having thought about it, I kind of like it over the other two. And it's going to be, I could do this all day. Captain America.
Yes.
I think that for me is just such a massive, like, quintessential moment. It just encapsulates the Avengers. It encapsulates Cap in who he is. But again, like, I should have done that the other way. It encapsulates Cap, but I think it encapsulates sort of the Avengers as a whole. Like, they don't give up. They're going to keep going. They're going to keep fighting. And yeah, I just love the quote, and I love the fact that it comes from Captain America, who, in a good way, is probably the most simple Avenger in terms of his makeup. In terms of, you know, you've got a god, you've got a Hulk, you've got a technological genius, and then you've got this guy who, yeah, he got drugged up and buffed up a little bit, but essentially, you know, from somebody who would, if you looked at the lineup, would probably be seen as the most useless member, but he isn't. And I'll say that just so I can be good in chance books.
It's okay, bro. It's okay. Podcast.
I love that quote. I love that quote. I love that moment. I can do this all day. I think that just encapsulates sort of the whole attitude and the whole thing that is the Avengers.
Love it.
It's annoying, but it's what makes him lovable.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm really upset no one's used the "it's just like Budapest all over again" quote, but that's okay.
Hey, we're still at second pick. So.
Yeah. That's true.
Third. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I could have gone Hulk smash.
Deep.
Yeah. Or puny god. But I will follow on from my side character. And I'm actually going to use a bit more of a serious tone here. Not my usual. And it is from Peggy Carter. She says to Captain America, I think, the world has changed and none of us can go back. All we can do is our best, and sometimes the best that we can do is to start over.
Wow.
That's deep.
That is a deep cut.
Yes, I told you I was going a bit more serious.
Wow.
And for me, that one was...
Rethink my life for a bit.
That one, for like, you hear it when you first watch Captain America, and you're just like, oh yeah, cool, no worries, cool, deep. But then, as you watch all the movies, it becomes that pivotal moment where they actually do go back in time.
Yes.
And fix everything. So that was, look, I don't know if the directors and producers were thinking that far ahead at that point. If they were, kudos, because they thought like 10 years in front.
So
if not, the way they used it was pretty awesome. So yeah,
Wow.
that is my quote from Phase 1.
Peggy Carter is the actual cornerstone of the Avengers.
Without her, there'd be no Captain America.
True.
That's true. Actually,
Well,
without
look,
that German doctor.
There might be a Captain America, but there wouldn't be a Steve Rogers.
Wow. Stop it.
Very
There's
true.
so much love for Steve Rogers on this podcast. I love it.
Oh my god.
Am I up? Am I now? Is it my pick? Yeah, it's my
I
pick.
think so.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to give a quick shout out to the first Avenger because we've just had the last two quotes from that movie. So it shows you really the legacy that it's left for all of us in our hearts. So just a quick shout out to that. Look,
It's fair.
I can't go any further in this quote section and let you guys all walk all over this quote and let I Am Iron Man go any further down the list without being said as a quote because
Someone had to say it.
look, he's not. I love Captain America, and I could have picked multiple quotes from his lines throughout the films, but I had to leave it as that one because I think. Now, I'm not even going to pretend to tie this into my hypothetical film. No, I will. Obadiah Stane will say it. Say something to Captain America. Captain America will turn back to him, and he'll say, "I am Iron Man. Sorry, we are Iron Man," because like Iron Man's gone, and it's like powerful.
Caleb,
Anyway,
you're
sorry.
writing a script throughout this.
Sorry, I
podcast.
apologize.
I love it.
The Guardian of the Galaxy as well.
Yeah, are you going to use that for the next Phase, Chance? I am Groot and we are Groot.
Yes. No, I'm going to use I am Groot, and he's going to say I am Steve Rogers, and that's the quote. That's my favorite quote of the whole series, to be honest. No, but I think that we know what this line means to all of us, and we see the payoff of it. And like he said it in the context of I am Iron Man, and clicks his fingers at the end of Endgame, and your mind instantly goes back to the end of Iron Man 1. Like, it's like, doesn't matter how far gone it is. It doesn't matter if you hadn't watched that movie since it came out of the cinemas. It's irrelevant. Like that quote to be that powerful to take us back. The Russo brothers knew how powerful it would have been. So that's my pick for the quote.
Great pick.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I got so much respect for Iron Man.
Mr. Rio de Janeiro, over to you, my friend.
Go, Dom.
That's my go.
This is Brazil.
This is Brazil.
His family.
So yeah, speaker read. No, I'm joking.
He just breaks out in Brazilian Portuguese.
Oh, I wish. So no, my quote's going to be a serious one. So my quote is from Yinsen, where he says, "So you're a man who has everything and nothing." Now, this is a very important quote because the context is him talking to Tony and him telling him that he's going to see his family again, and Tony basically saying he doesn't have any family. Now, we find out later that basically what Yinsen was saying is, I plan on dying soon and going to see my family. Eventually I'm going to die and we'll see them. So the idea that a man who's saying, I'm going to die soon, I'm going to come to the end, and everyone will usually think that's nothing, but I have everything, and you're going to live and you have nothing. And that's very profound for me. And that, again, that's something that sets up Iron Man on his journey to the fact that when he does eventually die, this isn't in phase 1, but when he does eventually die, he dies with everything, similar to how Yinsen.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Wow, good quote.
These went so deep.
What a way to end. What a way to end.
Hey, Fitz, did I mean
Oh my gosh.
What are you on about?
Well, in Rio de Janeiro, no, we'll leave that behind.
Does The Rock jump off a building and kill him in Rio de Janeiro?
No, I think you're thinking of The Good Guys, or whatever it's called, with Will Ferrell and
Other guys.
The Rock jumps off a building. Other guys, yeah. Sorry.
It's in America. The good guys.
Us guys? No. The other guys.
The other guys, sorry. Good Guys is where I got my washing machine.
There's so
Shout out
many
Good Guys.
guys.
Wrong
I'm
movie.
going to change my quote. Good guys pay less, pay cash.
Coming.
They're not wrong. We should have the outro music as that song.
David, that's a great quote. I rate that very high.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a Captain Man and Iron America quote. Iron America. Oh my God, Captain Man and Iron America. Oh my God.
That's the name of my movie. You've just given me the name of my movie. Well done. Well done.
Oh my God.
Oh,
A
wow.
lot of Iron Man and Captain America quotes. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm done. I got to go to bed.
Oh, bro, I'm done.
Oh, no.
We've effectively capped off phase 1. To close this off, I actually want to do something similar to what we do. I want you guys to say where you rate phase 1 amongst all the phases of Marvel. 1, 2, and 3. We'll go in draft order, and it was me first. And I put it somewhere between 8.5 and 9, just because of its place as the foundation. I know the movies in it weren't great, but as a foundation for the phases onwards, I have it somewhere there.
Good.
Who is next? Josh.
Yeah, Riz.
I mean, it's kind of hard. I kind of have to say the same thing. Like, I feel like it's just a perfect setup. And like, I mean, I know I've only been on one other sort of episode, but I think, you know, everything laddering up to the Avengers and even the way that they did the Avengers, how well that was done, considering the massive cast that they had, the build-up, the fact that you couldn't wait to see all of these guys together in one film, and the fact that it paid off so great. I mean, I think, yeah, I have to give it around an 8.5 for me. I think it's really up there.
Nice.
For me, what raises its score is Avengers. It was the first time seeing all the characters. It was the first time seeing anything like that. Like the only collection of actors and characters that's comparable, like of scale, I'm not necessarily saying as good, but of scale, was something like the Expendables, where you had just a ridiculous amount of action characters coming together from all generations. So yeah, I'd put out about an 8.25. And I wouldn't put it. Look, I like the other phases just because they have some of my favorite characters with their origin stories. So that's the only reason I'd rate them slightly higher. But, yeah.
That's your Rotten Tomatoes score.
Peggy Carter a higher overall score than Marvel Phase 1.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Caleb.
Yeah, good shot. I mean, I can't.
I'm gonna give it. This is tough for me. I'm gonna give it an 8.9 out of 10. I went and had a quick look just then. There's 3 movies from this phase in my top 10. So I think that has to count for something. I don't think I know it's only 3 in the 10, but I'm saying I think I've got to give it some love for that. And it has Iron Man obviously in my top 2, I believe. So that's from this phase, and Avengers is quite high too. So 8.9, I think it rounds it up. The only movie that brings this down for me from a 9.5, which is some of the other phases might have, is obviously Thor. It's probably because I actually really enjoy Iron Man 2. I know we rag on it and stuff, but I don't mind watching it. So Thor for me, because of the issues I have with the movie overall sometimes, and the tone that it has, and the Hulk, I guess, brings it down. But yeah, those 2 films kind of bring it down a little bit. So yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, well, I can say what I want. We're sitting across the computer screen.
I'll hack your computer.
Yeah. Anyway, it's an 8.9. We'll leave it at that.
Very good.
Avid.
Yeah. So I guess for me, yes, overall I enjoyed it. I think Iron Man 2 has its issues. I think Thor I enjoyed as a movie, but it's more subpar compared to the other ones. So I think I need to even it out to 8 out of 10 for me.
Fair.
Wow.
And Grant.
I'm going to go big here. I'm going to give this a 9.5.
Whoa.
Explain.
Hey.
Bro, that's
Phase
0.5
2.
from 30.
Phase 2 and Phase 3 owe everything to Phase 1. If Phase 1 didn't make us fall in love with these characters, we wouldn't have got that far.
Okay.
Fair.
Phase 1 had the hardest job. It had to make us fall in love with the characters. It had to be good. Otherwise, we wouldn't have got as far as Phase 2 or 3.
Fair enough.
So I feel like I had the
True,
hardest
true.
job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my 9.5.
All right, yeah. All right, well, that ends our recap and review of Phase 1. Thanks for watching. I don't know where we'll go next, whether we enter Phase 2 with what movie, but yeah.
Captain America: The Winter Soldier, please, dear God.
Or we do Lord of the Rings.
Iron Man 2 and 3, I reckon.
Now we're skipping those.
We do then.
We're skipping Lord of the Rings.
Just for 10 minutes.
Nah, we can never skip Lord of the Rings.
They're not even MCU. What are you talking about? All right, well.
They paved the way.
All right, well. Thanks for watching. Thank you, boys, for joining.
Much
See you
love
later,
to the
boys.
fans.
Stay safe.
Love you, boys.
Cheers, boys.